examine himself. You can circle those two words there. Examine himself. And so let him eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For he who eats and drinks in an unworthy manner eats and drinks judgment to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this reason, many are weak and sick among you, and many sleep, or basically die prematurely. Verse 31, for if we would judge ourselves, we would not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened by the Lord, that we may not be condemned with the world. Pause right there. First of all, I want you to understand this. This is crucial. In verse 27, I think, and then it's later, it's in 29 as well. He says, for you that take communion in an unworthy manner. In an unworthy manner. All of us in here are unworthy to take communion now. I've failed. You failed. When you come into the house of God, it's not like, well, I got to be perfect before I can take communion. Hey, we all fell short. We all sin. But the unworthy manner is what he's talking about. The flippancy of taking communion. The way we approach the communion table. That's as if, let's say, one of you guys was out drinking, getting hammered all night, and you just stumble into a service and we're going to have communion. You're like, oh yeah, I believe Jesus died. Yeah, that's why I could go get hammered last night. Yeah, that's the unworthy manner that we're talking about. Not the brokenness of sin. Just, settling in sin. We talked about this yesterday. There's a difference now between struggling with sin and settling in sin. There's two different things. There's a difference between taking the grace of God and use it as a license to sin and knowing that it's only by grace that we've been saved. There's two different things. It's like my two boys coming out of the movie theater when it had rain. And I said to them, there's going to be a bunch of puddles. You guys have new shoes. Make sure you guys don't get in the puddle. Avoid those puddles. And I have one kid that's ADD times 10. He's looking at the clouds and he stumbles right into the puddle. Oh man, and I got my new shoes all dirty. Right? And I, as a dad, go, okay, he wasn't looking for the puddle to jump into it. He just stumbled in it. And he was sorry. Oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Now, the other guy was cool and collective about it. He said, okay, Mom and Dad aren't looking. Okay, I can do it. And he jumped right in there. Now, what is that? That's settling in sin. That's saying, oh, Dad will forgive me. It'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and get my feet muddy even though he told me not to. And the reason why I told him not to is because I had his best interest in mind. I didn't want Holmes to show up at school with nasty old funky brand new shoes. I wanted Holmes to be blinking when he rolled. Hey, what? My heart was the best for him. So there's a difference between struggling in sin and settling. There's two different things. In an unworthy manner, we need to be repentant. We say, God, and he says, before you take communion, examine yourself. And I circled that. I put it in, even in my notes, in bold and in all caps, himself. Examine yourself. Before you take communion, when we do it at the end of the month, take personal inventory. Don't be going, well, my wife really should be repentant on this. Here. Personal. Examine himself. Looking at the mirror. Saying, God, change me. Lord, search my heart. See if there's any wicked way in me. I desire change. That's personally examining yourself. That Greek word examine is dokimazo. Dokimazo. And it means to test or to scrutinize. It's, the kind of way I look at it is, it's like a diamond expert. When maybe you want to go to the pawn shop and slang a couple diamonds, that you have. What's homie going to do? He's going to take out that little thing. He's got that little eye, he's looking down. Okay, let's see if this is really, dude, you're trying to sell me, what do they call the fake diamonds, that all the kids got, and they're like this big, because they're trying to bling like the big guys, huh? Cubic zirconia. I couldn't think of it. Thank you. Holmes is like, this is a cubic zirconia, dude. Get out of here. Or he's taking it, they have all those schedules. What is it, D, E, F, and SI 1 and 2. I was trying to look at that when I was, I was like, what is that all about? Some of the younger people are like, what is this guy talking about? Basically, they rate the diamond and how pure it is. And when he looks down through that little lens, he can look and see, okay, we got a little flaw here. Oh, we got a little black mark here. Okay, it's only worth such and such money. Before we take communion, we need to be that diamond expert. And asking God, look into my heart, see where the black parts are, see where the flaws are. God, I want to be a pure diamond in your sight. I want to be close to you. I want to be used by you. I want to love you better. I want to look more like you. That's the heart. Lord, I know that I've blown it. Please forgive me. That's how we do it in a worthy manner. Not that you're worthy, because all of us in here have failed. But that's the difference. This dokimazo, this examining of self. And why is it so important? Well, before we take communion to do that, watch verse 29. Because if not, you're really going to bring judgment upon yourself. You're not discerning the Lord's body or understanding the importance of it. And then it says in verse 30, because of this, because people are coming in flippantly and just taking the grace of God as a license to sin, I can do whatever I want. People are getting sick. They're falling out quick. Because God was saying, you know what? I'm serious about this. This is a serious thing about sin because I want the best for you. I don't take this lightly. And he says, if we judge ourselves there in verse 31, we would not be judged. That is always the first step to come to Christ, is to just admit you're a sinner. Some of us just won't want to, well, it was my dad's fault, or you know what, it's all about, it's my spouse's fault, or you know what, this is just the way I am. The first way you come to Christ is humbling yourself before God and admit it. You know, it's the ABCs of becoming a Christian. Admit, believe, and confess. You admit it. Just finally just come in. All right, man, I've blown it. If we would judge